Ivanka Trump and the Abandoned Dog. A cold winter night had settled over Washington, casting a quiet stillness over the streets. The soft glow of streetlights reflected off a thin layer of snow, while the grandeur of the White House stood undisturbed. But on this particular night, amidst the silence, a small yet deeply moving story was about to unfold. A faint cry in the darkness. Ivanka Trump had just finished a long, exhausting meeting. Wrapped in a cream-coloured coat, she stepped outside the White House, heading toward the waiting car. But then, a faint sound caught her attention. Whimper. Whimper. She stopped, listening carefully. It was weak, barely audible over the wind, but it was there. No one else seemed to notice it, but Ivanka did. Turning away from her security detail, she followed the sound toward the east lawn of the White House. Under the dim glow of a nearby street lamp, she saw a small figure curled up near a tree. A forgotten life. A tiny dog, its white fur blending with the snow, was trembling violently. A deep wound on its front leg made it unable to move, and its eyes, filled with fear and pain, looked up at her as if pleading for help. Ivanka knelt beside it, gently reaching out her hand. "Who left you here, little one?" she whispered. The dog flinched at first, but then, as if sensing her warmth, it slowly leaned into her touch. She glanced around. No collar, no sign of an owner. It had been abandoned. No hesitation, no second thoughts. Ivanka didn't hesitate. She removed her scarf and carefully wrapped it around the tiny, shivering body. "I'm taking it with me," she said firmly to her security team. "Mom, we can call animal rescue." "No, I'll take care of it myself." Her voice left no room for argument. She lifted the fragile dog in her arms. It was cold, barely moving, but it nuzzled against her chest as if knowing it had finally found safety. A race against time. Minutes later, Ivanka sat in the back of her car, her heart racing. "Drive fast, please," she urged the driver as they sped toward the nearest veterinary clinic. The dog's breathing was faint, unsteady. She could feel life slipping away in her arms. "Hold on, little one. You're not alone anymore," she whispered, tightening her hold on it. Snow fell heavier outside, the wind howled, but Ivanka didn't care about anything else, only about getting there in time. A miracle in the night. As soon as they arrived at the vet, Ivanka burst through the doors. "Emergency, please help," she called out. Vets and assistants rushed forward, immediately assessing the pup's condition. Ivanka refused to step back. She stayed close, watching as they cleaned the wound, administered treatment, and fought to save the little life in front of them. After what felt like an eternity, one of the vets turned to her with a gentle smile. "It's going to make it. But if you had been even a little later, it might not have survived." Ivanka let out a breath she didn't realize she had been holding. She approached the tiny pup, now resting on a soft blanket. Its breathing was steady. It was safe. "Would you like to name it?" the vet asked. Ivanka looked down at her hands, still stained with traces of the dog's blood, but for the first time that night she felt warmth. She smiled softly. Snow. Because it fought through the coldest night. A new home. A new life. The next morning, Ivanka brought Snow home. It now had a warm bed, a full bowl of food, and, most importantly, a family. No one knew why Ivanka Trump had spent an entire night racing through the snow to save a nameless, abandoned dog. But for Snow, she was the whole world.